In the studio, Isaac Kofi Agyei is back on the board and dynamics, right? Just give us a breakdown of what we're looking at that you're going to be doing.
All right, Ben, before we start, let's note that these are our own calculations, and it's subject to any change made by government.
Right.
And so let's start with E-Levy. Let's assume
explanatory as possible. When you say the value added on the transaction, what are you referring to?
It means that, 100 cedis is not taxable as far as the E-Levy is concerned.
Right.
So it means that from 200 cedis onwards, it's taxable. So it means that from 100 cedis to 200 cedis, if you move from 100 cedis to 200 cedis, you've added an additional 100 cedis to it. So we are going to tax that 100 cedis you've added. You get what I'm trying to say? So let's assume you are, transferring an amount of 100 cedis. This is the telco's charge. E-Levy is not applicable here. So the total charge will be 1 cedi. And I bring your total to 101, cedis. That's the total cost to the sender.
Okay.
And now,
just to clarify, of course, so if you're sending above 100 cedis, so if you're sending 101 cedis, those ones, the one
cedi is the value added.
Right.
So we are going to
where a 1 cedi component will be the service charge.
Exactly.
If you were sending 101 cedis, then that would kick on the 1 cedi that is added.
Value added. So we are looking at that assumption for now. And then if you are transacting, let's say 500 cedis, the value added here is 400. Value added here is 400 cedis. The telco's charge will be 5 cedis. E-Levy is applicable here, which will amount to 7 cedis, and the total charge will be 12 cedis.
That is on the 400.
On the 400 cedis, value added.
Right.
And this will give you a total cost of 203 cedis, 75.
I think you've moved from 500 to 200.
Sorry, 500
cedis is not going to be affected. So you're going to have the service charge, which is 5 cedis, and then you have the E-Levy coming through at 7 cedis, which will then add up to give you 12 cedis, which would mean you're paying 512.
So here the assumption here is that E-Levy, so let's assume you are transferring an amount of 1,000 cedis. Remember that from 1,000 cedis, the rate
is fixed
rate or flat rate. So it means that you'll be paying an amount of 10 cedis as the service charge. E-Levy is applicable here, which will be 55 pesos. And the total cost to the sender will be 1,000 cedis, and 1,000 cedis and what? 25.
So 1,025 cedis,
75 pesos. That will be the total cost to the sender.
So the 15 cedis and 75 pesos will be on
the same rate, flat rate, that's 10 cedis. E-Levy is applicable here, 33 cedis, 25 pesos. And the total charge will be 43 cedis, 25 pesos. And this, figure is the total,
doing the E-Levy at 1.75% constant with the 1% service charge also held at a constant. That will give you 2.75. On anything above 100. If I'm transferring 2,000 cedis, I'll be paying almost 44 cedis. 1% service charge. We are not looking at the other 1% if you want the person not to pay anything. And we'll get to that.
We'll get to that side.
Okay.
Now let's look at E-Levy 75. This means that here the telco has reduced their service charge by 25%.
And that is something that has come up.
Yeah. So this is a different dynamic. Let's look at this dynamic as well. So 75 pesos. The total cost will be 100 cedis, 75 pesos. Now let's move to 500 cedis. Again, the value added here is 400 cedis, 7 cedis. And if you add it to the telco's charge, 3 cedis, 75 pesos, that will give you a total charge of 10 cedis, 75 pesos.
Right.
Now the cost to the sender is 1,000 cedis, a fixed rate of 100 cedis for service charge, and E-Levy is applicable here, 33 cedis, 25 pesos, and the total is 43 cedis, 25 pesos, and this will amount to 2,043 cedis, 25 pesos to the sender. Yeah.
So let's do some more, because there are many different permutations we can do with this. Now we're going to look at what? An E-Levy at 1.5%, which is a dip in the E-Levy's percentage.
So assuming E-Levy is at 1.5%, and then, the service charge is still at 1%. Let's look at the dynamics. We are still taxing the value added. The value, 2 cedis. E-Levy is applicable here. That will be 1 cedi, 50 pesos. Total charge will be 5 cedis. And the total cost to the sender, that will be 201 cedis, 50 pesos. the value added on the 500 cedis is 400 cedis. Now the service charge, which is the 1%, will amount to 5 cedis, and E-Levy is applicable here, 6 cedis. And the total charge is 12 cedis, 50 pesos to the 2,000 cedis that we are.
And you can see the total cost of the sender reducing because again, the E-Levy is now being pegged at 1.5%. So 1.5%. And we can also look at the E-Levy, the service charge, I should say, at 0.75%, which would also give us a much lower pay.
5%, and service charge has been reduced by 25%. So let me start from 500 cedis. So 500 cedis, the value added, the total charge to the sender is 9 cedis, 75 pesos.
Right.
And the total cost to the sender is 509 cedis, 75 pesos.
Right.
And from 1,000 cedis onwards, the rate is flat. So, but still at 1,000 cedis, an E-Levy will be 13 cedis, 50 pesos, total charge 21 cedis, and the total cost to the sender, Ben, will be 1,021 cedis.
And you can see a steady decrease.
Yeah.
The question is for those watching whether on every transaction of about 2,000, you would be willing to pay about 40 cedis on it to help the national kitty. But there is this dynamic as well that we can look at. So what it would mean if we're doing the I pay 5 cedis on that.
Yeah.
And that is the normal service charge as we know it now. So 5 cedis on that. If I want the other person not to have to lose any money, to cash out 500 cedis, not 495, I have to add another 5 cedis or so. Obviously, it's going to go up. So it's going to be double the service charge plus either 1.75 or 1.5.
So I term this as the cushion amount. The amount that you're supposed to cushion the person you are sending the money to so that he or she can withdraw the same amount. So again, 1%, that will be 5 cedis. E-Levy, 7 cedis, and total charge will be 12 cedis. Now, because I want the person withdrawing to withdraw the same amount, I would have to add 5 cedis that the total cost to the sender will be 517 cedis, Ben.
Let's quickly do this. Let's compare this 500 or these 517 cedis to when it is just 1%, one way, 1%, without the additional 1%.
Okay, let's move to the next slide. This is when you want the person withdrawing to cash out the same amount, but E-Levy is at 1. So again, 500 cedis, value added is 400. The service charge here is at 0.75%, meaning you're going to pay an amount of 3 cedis, 75 pesos, and the cushion amount would have to be, 3 cedis, 75 pesos, and the total charge to the sender will be exactly
in this instance.
Exactly.
Right. So can we do that quick comparison? So when we have the two-way thing, 500 cedis, of course, the component that is going to be affected is 400 cedis. But we are using the 1% service charge. 5 cedis here, 5 cedis there. You would be looking at 507 without the second component, the cushion amount. Without the cushion amount, so 517 cedis. Without the cushion amount, what would we be looking? So we'd be looking at 512 cedis.
Yeah.
So it's an increment of another 5 cedis, which stands to reason because you are adding 5 cedis for the other end.
Two dynamics here is either government agrees to tax the value added or tax the volume of the transaction, and we have the analysis here. Maybe because of time we might not be able to do. Already, government is operating a budget with almost 37 billion cedis, and if government is not able to pass this E-Levy, it means that the deficit is projected to hit almost 43 billion.
We're going to hide in our own corner and have a discussion on. For now, we're going to allow the experts as well to share their thoughts. Kofi, great job as usual. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe and click the bell icon and get notified every time we share something interesting. We would love to have you on there.
Super Hits Radio. Joy 99.7.